Hey there folks, Jeff Blubman with Practically Tactical, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a great product, a very, very smart product in my humble opinion, which is the Gadget, which is offered by Tau Development Group. That's TAU Development Group. What it is it replaces the backplate of a Glock. I guess it's available, this would cover a bunch of different models, but I have it for 9mm. Okay, so my Glock 34, which is my typical EDC pistol. And what it is it is a striker, I guess, movement prevention device. I just made that up, but it makes kind of sense. And essentially it is, and I'll tell you more about how it works and stuff. It was you can see what I'm reholstering, just so you kind of get this from the get-go. I'm placing my thumb behind the slide into the back plate when I reinsert the pistol into my holster. It was designed as a collaboration between the late Todd Lewis Green of PistolTraining.com. Very unfortunate that we lost him. Everybody that I've ever trained with him and has known him said he was an awesome instructor and a great guy. If you go to his website, though, he still has all the drills and whatnot. So you know, if you're looking for new ways to test your skills and grow as a shooter, you can go there and get information at PistolTraining.com. So it was Todd Lewis Green and a guy named Tom Jones. Tom Jones was a friend and I guess student of Todd Lewis Green, and an engineer. And what had happened was Tom Jones was reholstering a pistol with a hammer, and kind of as you should with a hammer mounted gun, placing his thumb behind the hammer as he reinserted into the holster. That way you can feel a tactile, movement of the hammer in the event that something has entered into the trigger guard as you're reholstering. So it's an added safety measure. And Todd Lewis Green stopped him and said, "Hey, that thing that you're doing with that double action pistol," it was like a Sig or a Brett or something, "can you do it with a striker?" And he didn't even get the last words out. And Tom said, "I know exactly what you mean. I'll make it work. I'll figure out how we can make that happen." So what you're going to hear a lot of people on the internet say, all the idiot shit comes out with this product apparently, but I got it on my gun, so maybe there's some merit there. You be the judge. Well, you don't need something like that on your pistol if you safely reholster. Okay, I do that. I've been carrying appendix now for about 4 years, and before that I was carrying behind the hip for about 10. So I do believe that it is very important, one, to have a holster that does not collapse. Two, to keep your finger high and away from the trigger and in a high register position, i.e. the ejection port where applicable, where appropriate. For me, that's at the ejection port. And do a visual inspection of the holster before reinserting the gun. Okay, those are not negotiable in my opinion. However, if I can add a device, i.e. the Gadget, by just replacing the back plate, that prevents, again, the trigger and the striker from moving as I reholster, that's good. That's an added safety measure that I think is very, very valuable and has a lot of merit behind it, okay? So the way that it works, and we'll do a close-up of this, is just kind of get that out of here. It kind of dangles, okay? So people will say like, "Oh, that's distracting." It's not distracting. I've shot this gun a lot, and there's no problem with it. So as I press the trigger, you'll see that the back plate will start to move backwards. So what it is, it's actually a two-piece design, okay? You have the back plate part that goes on, which obviously contains the striker, all those little springy things that lead to the extractor and all that stuff. So that holds all the guts in. There is a pin that goes across the top, and the back plate that kind of hinges back and forth. The back plate then has a thing that goes into the firing pin channel that pushes on the rear of the striker. So with that, so if this is the back of the striker, the device, if I press it forward, goes like that. Okay, under normal circumstances, if I'm not pressing into the back of the back plate of the Gadget, it'll just go like that. It goes back and forth. So that kind of hinges back and forth. If you can kind of get that, and we'll show you a close-up of how that works. So when I'm in the firing sequence, when I'm just regularly shooting, it's a non-entity. It doesn't do anything. It's not distracting. You don't notice noise. It's like people that say that just haven't worked with it. And if you do, for some reason, you're crazy, I don't know, concentrated or focused on that, you should probably be more focused on your sight and the thread, in my opinion. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But again, I think that the idea behind it has incredibly strong merit. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, dude, that makes a lot of sense. I want to have that on my gun. As well as a lot of people that I tremendously respect in this industry, a lot of the ShivWorks guys and just other firearms instructors that really know their stuff like it as well. So you can go. They just finished first and second run. It's an overwhelming amount of interest in it, overwhelming amount of orders and stuff. So I definitely recommend. We'll put in the description box where you can get the gadget. I'll show you me shooting it because we're at a range and everybody likes to see shooting. But it's just not a non-entity, again, when I'm not actively using it. Okay, so I will insert a magazine, rack the slide, build my support hand grip on the gun. I'm also going to be doing a dedicated video about this pistol, kind of all the modifications and the reasons behind what I've got, why I've got it on this pistol. But again, my EDC pistol, I've got the gadget on it and I'm extremely happy with it. Additionally, it's all made in the USA. And it's all CNC machined. Like, this is a very quality piece. It's not like some chintzy, import or something like that where it's like, oh, I don't know, it's questionable quality. It's made to a very, very high standard of manufacturing. Okay? So, as you can see, it's just not an issue. If I look directly at it, yeah, I'll see it come back and forward a little bit. It's just like a swinging door hinge. But, again, I'm focused on my sights, or in this case, the dot of my RMR. There's no problem. So then, as I come off sights, I check my work. Okay, I'll check the surrounding environs. I'll check behind me. I'll do all the range theatric shit. Come back. Notice also, I may as well put this in here. As I come back, so my muzzle is oriented towards threat at all times. What I'm going to do, you'll see a lot of people when they reholster appendix or even behind the hip is they'll cant the gun or the muzzle inboard. Well, that's crossing an area that I may not want to cross, okay? And if you think about, potential non-hostile people, i.e. civilians, people that don't need bullets, I want to keep my muzzle trained in the direction of the bad guy as much as possible, okay? So when I come here, I'll elevate my elbow, I'll break my wrist when I come down, and then I'll go straight into the holster. I'll visually inspect, I'll press it down in, and I'll press it down in slowly and surely, okay? If I feel that gadget come back, well, then I know I've got a problem. I know that I've got something in my holster, and I can stop, okay, the reholstering process and fix what I've got going on. So now that you've seen the close-up of the gadget and you've got my thoughts about it, if this isn't for you, no problem. But I think that there's a tremendous amount of merit again in this thing. So go to Tau Development Group. Again, information in the description box. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really like the information that we put out and you like the content and you dig the channel, you can support us by going to Patreon, to the Practically Tactical Patreon page, and support the show monetarily. It helps us come back out here. These trips are really expensive, and you'll be a part of it. You get a lot of perks and a lot of private stuff that we don't put on the internet for everybody, as well as increased discounts on some of our sponsors' products, okay? As well as in the description box, you'll notice a bunch of links to people like Modern Outfitters, Proper, Big Tex Outdoors, ATEI Guns, NAF Custom Stippling, and you'll get a discount code so you save money. So we're working really hard to bring you the best stuff that we can, the best content that we can. We'll see you in the next one.